Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com. Quantities are limited. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off the enrollment fee. The next challenge begins on March 23rd. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Cover more acres with a pre-owned sprayer or planter from Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer. We offer one of the area's largest selections of used sprayers, applicators, planters, and seeders. Through the month of March, take advantage of fixed-rate financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver. Visit your local Landmark Implement location or view our complete sprayer and seeding inventory online at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock. A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to Take a Weeknights. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, as soon as the clock hits 6 p.m. is when I start to fill in here. But nonetheless, this is the Don't Punt Hour. Again, we got the March Madness games on the brick and mortar through the airwaves. So if you guys want to watch the show, tune in. The Ticket app, you can get that off the App Store, any of the app stores. It'll be up there for you. And again, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. And of course, text line's still open for you. 402-464-5685. But let's go ahead and bring in the host of the show, DeMornay Pierson-El. How's it going on this Wednesday night?
It's going pretty good. And yourself?
Not too bad. We got to select some teams with the ticket listeners here. And I got to tell you, I like the optimism for Nebraska basketball. So we essentially set up a ticket listeners bracket just in the last show with me and DP. And as Aaron states, if Nebraska wins this, we might have multiple medical emergencies. The emotions would be overwhelming. Let me just give you the ticket listeners' final four. Just give me your thoughts. You got number 1, UConn, number 2, Arizona. And on the other side, you got number 8, Nebraska, and number 1, Purdue. A rematch in the Final Four.
Well, I like the confidence. I like, that that's where their head is at, and you may never know what can happen.
Okay, so we'll keep this going. Nebraska advances, and they face number 1 UConn. Can you guess who the ticket listeners picked to win it all?
Is the school red?
Correct. Nebraska picked to win it all in the ticket listeners bracket. My favorite part about this bracket, DeMornay Pierson-El, and again, shout out to all the listeners out there. It honestly is a very believable bracket. I know Nebraska's winning it all, but if you go through it, it's a solid bracket. There's not a bunch of crazy upsets for the most part. Nebraska's your craziest upset in there, not by the fact of the high seed, but just the fact they have them going there that far. But I do think it's a lot of fun with this team, is because even though, yes, that was a fun game to do with the listeners, there is a real chance for Nebraska to make waves in this tournament. And I know it's one game at a time, but I'll just start here. And then, of course, we'll talk some Husker football news, too, as with the announcements we got today. But what is it about this team that's been different, DeMornay Pierson-El, that has kind of built this confidence that this is a team that can, if they get through round 1, have a chance to make some sort of run here?
We've seen the team, as I said before, we've seen the team, go up by 20 points. We've seen the team, come back from 20 points. They're never out of the game. And I feel like, the harder or the better the team plays, or the team that they're playing is, like, the better that that their shot that they're going to give them. So, and still, a full complete game, they played a majority of a complete game and everything. They look good and everything like that. They've kind of, established, what their type of game is. So, you feel very confident with what they're capable to do if everything is going their way. And if they show up how they can.
Yeah, and it definitely feels like, is it fair to say this is the Cinderella team this year? I mean, when Pat McAfee signed off on this Nebraska football team, it is getting that attention that I don't think a lot of people have been watching Nebraska basketball, which is, you can argue, fair. It hasn't been the greatest project in recent years, but now with the national media all over it, is this Cinderella's team?
The thing about the Cinderella thing, you got to win a couple games before you can get that title or even say it.
Yeah,
so
fair point.
I'm not jumping the gun on that. You typically get that title after you've done some things in the tournament. So is it possible? Yeah. I mean, is it possible for a 16 seed to get to the Final Four? Yeah. Who knows? So we got to kind of wait and see how many games we can win before that title gets slapped on there before any work has been done.
Yep, fair enough. And again, for you guys out there listening, if you want to join the ticket crew, we're going to be out there at Wings and Things out there on the south side of town. So if you guys want to hang out, watch the games with us all the way up until 6 o'clock. And then I'm sure people will be getting antsy. Nebraska Basketball Friday, they play at 5:50. But you guys can hang out with us all the way up until then. Should be fun. Some other notable upsets of these ticket listeners picked. They got NC State moving on in the first round, beating Texas Tech, but they do have them losing to number 3 Kentucky. They got Drake winning their first round, the 10 seed over the 7 seed. Other than that, it was New Mexico. They got those guys advancing to the Sweet 16, and they like Creighton as well moving to the Sweet 16. So despite having a bunch of Nebraska fans here, there is still some respect for Creighton basketball. And I know this is a Husker station, but Creighton Blue Jays, how good of a shot do they have getting to the Final Four? Because this feels like a team that's built incredibly balanced. They've proved it all year long. They've had a little bit of ups and downs. For the most part, they've been pretty dominant in the Big East.
It can happen. If they play their cards right, as you say, their side of the bracket is a little bit favorable for them. So, I mean, if they come ready to play and they take, and they make the right,
Yep.
And going far.
We might be losing you a little bit this morning, Pierson-El. So I'm going to...
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, that's much better. Perfect. Just real quick, repeat the last 10 seconds of what you're saying there.
I was saying, as we mentioned and said before that, that their matchup is definitely favorable, on their side of the bracket. So if they handle business and take care of things and whatnot, a few wins can land you in that spot. So I mean, it's definitely obtainable. It can happen. They can do it. You just never know, what you're going to get or what you're going to see.
Yep. And as unknown texters 1031 says, simply survive and advance. That's definitely rule number 1, especially if you're a program like Nebraska. Forget about Creighton. If you're Nebraska, you got to survive that first one if you have any hopes of creating any sort of noise this year. If you want, last chance to see Keisei Tamanaga, it would be great to see him for more than just one game. I want to get as much of that as I can before we have to move on from what has been one of the most electric players in college basketball this year. But let's go ahead and switch over, get out of the speculation zone of March Madness, as we still got a little bit of time to fill out our brackets, tweak them if you must. But Nebraska, they get their guy in a new AD, or at least finalizing a 6-year deal to make the Washington athletic director Troy Dannen the school's new AD. 6-year deal. You get Troy Dannen out of Washington, a team that was just in the college football playoffs. They lost their coach, though. He got poached, the basketball program, and a little bit of question marks around there, too. Nebraska steps in, says we got some coaches in place, or at least I'd imagine that's how the conversations went. You got new facilities. But what are your thoughts able to get Troy Dannen after, again, Washington? They just got to the college football playoffs.
That's he has a line of success of the places that he's went to and gone. It's funny how you can make something happen so quick in a position, but yet the president's situation isn't figured out. So you're capable, but you just didn't want to do it. But I mean, they got half of the job done. Nebraska seems excited about him. He has a good track record with Tulane, and I mean, I know he was at 1 year at Washington, but I mean, still having a hand in that, that's experience and skin in the game. So I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah, and not even a year at Washington is the crazy part. I mean, it is a little funny to kind of see how Trev Alberts went for us, and then you're like, man, Washington, he might have even got it worse. That guy was in and out the door. So, but it's funny you mentioned the president, because speaking of, as this unknown texter says, seems like a quick hire for AD, little pressure going down at the old university, as Dr. Jeff Gold of UNMC has also been announced as a primary candidate for the president, taking over the Ohio State transfer, taking over the last president who's now over at Ohio State. It does feel like things are moving in place a lot quicker before. Is this just because of the pressure that was put on the Board of Regents and just the University of Nebraska as a whole?
I would think so. All of a sudden now you have your number one candidate when the job search. I don't think necessarily really or just getting started. So I mean, this is something that has been talked about off and on with filling that position. In the same week. It just so happens both of them get mentioned out. So I think they definitely are feeling the pressure. People are saying stuff and everything like that. So I think that's definitely what type of move it is.
Yeah, and the most peculiar thing to me, and don't worry, for all the listeners out there, I'm not going to go into Trev Alberts' rant. I think we can get as much out of it as we can. But that was one of the guys that Trev Alberts seemed to be fond of and hinted at really liking him for the job. So for this to come after the fact just feels a little strange, when it just feels why drag the feet when it seemed like this was the guy that Alberts wanted to begin with. And it does make sense. I mean, his resume, I'm not going to go through the entire thing because it's a lot. I mean, this guy's very credited. He understands the ins and outs. It makes sense why Trev Alberts would have liked him for the job, but it does feel weird that they drag their feet on this a little bit. And I'm right there with you. But just quick thoughts, Dr. Jeff Gold of UNMC for president. I don't think it's a bad choice. I mean, he's been within and around the program for, I think, about 40 years now. Just a absolute, what's the right word I'm looking for here? Truly a leader in the medical field as well, and what he was able to do with the universities in the Nebraska area. I mean, the guy has just an incredibly long resume of strong leadership. Thoughts on him, UNMC, Dr. Jeff Gold, for a priority candidate for the new president job?
I have to look a lot more into him. I've heard good things, about him and whatnot. I think it's just, he brings a different perspective than what they kind of have or been looking into, or previous dudes, with being more so on like, the sports side of thing and heavy on that. So, if it's the best fit for the university and it gets us going in the right direction, you know what? Okay, let's make it happen.
Mm-hmm. And for all those curious, here's a little bit of his resume. Again, if you guys want to read about it, you can go to the university or nebraska.edu/meet our people. He'll be in there. He's a Jeffrey P. Gold. He is a nationally recognized leader and tireless advocate for transforming higher education, and goes on to say 8th Chancellor of the University of Nebraska Medical Center, UNMC, Vice President of the University of Nebraska System, and Chair Board of UNMC's Principal Clinical Care Academics Health System Partner, the Nebraska Medicine Health System, in January of 2014. July 2021 was named the Executive Vice President of the University of Nebraska System, in addition to ongoing UNMC/Nebraska Medicine responsibilities. In this role, Dr. Gold is the Chief Academic Office at the University of Nebraska System to the Board of Regents for Academic Affairs. And that's just a tiny bit of his resume. So again, it seems like you're going to have to chew through it if you want to get a real good feeling of this guy. But he's proven leadership is, I think, the important thing here. And that does feel like a very important part for Nebraska. You kind of hear Trev Alberts, maybe who's hinting at there was a lack of leadership here. But this guy, I got no problems with it. Why you need to look elsewhere? I don't think you'd have to. It seems like a great fit for me. You guys can disagree with me. 402-464-5685. But let's go back to Husker football here. Dylan Raiola, Pro Day. Did you have any chance to catch any of that?
I've seen a little bit of it, but nothing too crazy.
Okay, and then give me the Pro Day experience, because it seems like Nebraska, they obviously had the young guys mix in there as well, doing the drills with the upperclassmen. Is that kind of always how it's gone, even when you were down there at the University of Nebraska?
So sometimes, just to help them, don't tire them out too fast and everything like that. That way, everybody kind of looks good. It gives you a chance to see the younger guys, so it's good for them. But I mean, the main thing is, the seniors and the guys that are coming out early and whatnot, to get eyes on them. But that helps with not tiring so fast and not, burning out to where now you start to look, not in shape, or you lazy, or you tired or something like that. So that's to help that type of situation out.
Yeah, and then I will say this: when it comes to Pro Day and when it comes to the combine, Nebraska athletes always seem to do really well. Is that just because the work you guys do get in on Pro Day and just being able to be around it, and that ability that even if you're not one of those guys going to the pros, that you have the opportunity to go ahead and practice and see what it feels like to kind of have those people watching you and doing those drills?
You're chasing a dream. So, I mean, you firsthand, see it, so you kind of like know what to expect later on down the line. And, if things don't go that way, I mean, at least you put your best foot forward and you got yourself to that situation to even be seen. So I mean, it's one of those things. It's a bittersweet moment because it could be, the end of it, but it also, could spark, further more interest of stuff.
What was that pro day like for you, DPE? Just kind of going into it, and then what does the process look like after, especially when you're an upperclassman?
Going into it, I trained down in Texas at MJP. So, I came back early and still had to, make sure that, my body and everything like that was in shape leading up to the day. It was a little bit nervous and everything like that just because, what's at stake.
Right.
But, once you kind of get in your rhythm, at the end of the day, man, it's football. As long as you perform and you have good numbers and everything like that, and you put your best foot forward, you do good enough, they'll go back and check the tape and, then they'll start to, ask you and, maybe bring you in for a visit or maybe work you out, at the university or whatnot, because you can work out and get certain things after and whatnot. So as long as you kill it and do your part and everything like that, it feels good, but you just kind of got to get in your groove.
Yeah, and especially I know you said that they can, even attend one of those workouts down there at the university with you. And we got to go to break, but that's one I want to talk about next. Nebraska unveils a new 32,000 square feet weight room. If you haven't seen the pictures, it's absolutely beautiful. They did a great job. It looks like the money got well spent. I don't want to say it wasn't well spent. And we got some listeners out there at the ticket window. Give those to the fans out there in case you're curious. But with that being said, it does feel like that weight room, the facility that got in place, everything around that's going on in Nebraska, all the money that got spent, it does feel like there's no reasons that place can't succeed. With that being said, we'll go ahead and throw it to break here. This is Don't Punt Hour with DeMarne Pierson-El. The host, as always, we'll be back in just a little bit.
Causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is Monster Jam.
Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Brought to you by the Original Super Glue. Stop by your local participating Westlake Ace Hardware locations for your $10 savings coupon. Restrictions may apply. See store for details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena March 29th and 30th.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Attention all Nebraska basketball fans. The NCAA tournament is coming soon, and Nebraska looks to be on its way to their first appearance in 10 years. Better Tree Removal wants to celebrate the occasion and any possible success in the tournament by offering a deal. If you're in need of tree removal on your property, call or text Todd by March 20th. If Nebraska wins the first round game, you'll get 25% off the bid. If they win 2, you'll get 50% off. You must contact Todd at 402-780-1377 before March 20th.
Hi, folks. Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and the Chevrolet and GMC Truck Month is now underway. We've got huge savings in Louisville. Get $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months on select models. Yes, you heard right. That's $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months happening right now at Koppel. So take that short money saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit. Stock number G214773.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Pre-order your Hog Wild slow-smoked Easter ham today. Hog Wild selects the highest quality whole ham and slow smokes them until they're tender and delicious. Our 100% boneless ham is approximately 4 pounds and $50. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com. Quantities are limited. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour with the host, as always, DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. And again, if you guys want to join in, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, always open and available to you guys if you want to chime in. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. But I teased it before we went to break there. Nebraska's new weight room, 32,000 square feet, about as new can be. Beautiful top to bottom, oversees the practice field. I mean, what more could you possibly want out of a weight room? DeMornay Pierson-El, just your thoughts on it.
They're very lucky and fortunate. Our weight room beforehand was already, top of the yard and different, but, this is just, that's something different. That's definitely, top in the nation easily.
I had the opportunity to talk to Chancellor Brewington yesterday after your show, and he was even saying, like, man, you can go around NFL franchises and they don't have facilities like that.
They're not even, there's like maybe a handful of, NFL franchises that, weight room could even compare of something, to that. Don't get me wrong, some are good, they're different, but still, it's not that.
And those were his exact comments. He says, like, you can maybe get a handful, but especially now with the facility they just got done with the spa, they got red light therapy, they got sleep pods. I mean, it is incredible what they have there. So my next question, without even just talking about getting recruits, seeing the facilities, nothing about recruiting, do great facilities actually produce more wins? Or is that just purely to get guys recruited and on board with the program?
It depends who you have in there running it. Strength coaches are important. Strength coaches see the athletes, honestly, probably more than the kids. I mean, more than the coaches. Who you have running it, the guys that you have in there, definitely, can add to what goes on and what goes down on the field. They're what the strength coaches more than anything. Does it necessarily, add to win? I feel like, you can't really necessarily say that. Does it help? Is it an addition? Yes. But is that the sole factor on winning? I don't necessarily think you can hang your hat on that.
Yeah, definitely not a sole factor in winning, but I will say it has an impact. How much to me is the question, but if you have the top of the line facilities where everything is as good as it probably can get in college football, the ability to bounce back and get to practice at 100% the next day should be up there. The ability to get stronger on a faster timeline, the ability to take care of your body and not suffer severe injuries. I mean, how much does that have to play? Because I do feel like if you get the right facilities in place, you don't need to have the best, but surely it'll help you guys being able to get back out there on the practice field, especially now, spring ball, getting close to fall. You want those guys out there working as hard as they possibly can before it really starts to matter.
Well, I get what you're saying, but also, just because you have certain things there and available doesn't mean, people take advantage of fully using it. So you can have all of that and you might not have a person that uses that or anything at all. Or, when they're not at the facility and everything like that, what are they doing in their free time, spare time? What are they putting in their bodies? What are they doing to their bodies? So it's a number of things that go into it for things to work well oiled and smoothly. So you can only do so much when the athletes are there, and you can kind of control, or you can kind of mediate what they're doing, how they're doing it, and whatnot. But how are these athletes following things up when they're not, when the coaches aren't around, when they're not at the facility and everything like that. I think that's the difference maker.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You can have the nicest facilities in the world, but if you're not going to take them seriously, it's not going to get you any better than a JUCO college's weight room. You got to take advantage of what you have in front of you. But again, I just keep going with the nutrition, the weight room, you can go to the spa, get a massage, sleep pod, red light therapy. They even got some red light therapy pods in there too. So if you need to take care of that, I couldn't tell you exactly what the red light therapy is good for, but it is coming up into the sports world as well. So, I mean, there's really, to me, no excuses left on the table. I mean, is that too harsh to look at it for this team when it just feels like you got everything in place? Things are clicking. You got the number one quarterback in the country. You patched up your running back room by getting 4-star Dante Daldo out of Oregon. You got some key wide receiver transfer portals. The defense under Tony White, year 2, you feel good there. I mean, what's left on the box to check for this Nebraska program to get off and running? Or is it time this season we got to see some significant development?
It's in certain positions, you have young players, you got inexperienced players on this level. So, you got to, give them some time to, get their feet wet and understand, the flow of things and, let them kind of take over. I don't think it was more so what other teams were doing to us. It was more so what we were doing to ourselves. So they're right there, just don't make the same mistakes that we were making last year. And I think, like I said, 7 games, I think, is the floor.
I think 7 games got to be his floor too. I know you got some young quarterbacks in there, but I think the defense, as good as it's going to be, is going to carry the weight. And who on defense really excites you? Tommy Hill is going to have this significant uptick this
polar
year.
Bear.
I'm right there with you. What about the polar bear?
I mean, he's a wrestler, so I mean, his hands, like, I mean, I want to see him, throw people around and whatnot. I want to see him, run fitting and stopping the run and whatnot. So that's what I'm most excited to see. on the D line, and he cut 40 pounds. That's not easy. That's a lot. So how much of that weight is he putting back on once the season comes? So that I'm anxious to see how they handle that situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about Matt Rule. Give him credit. He's going to let his guys run track. He's going to let his guys wrestle, and if they're willing to do it and they're still willing to get ready for the football grind when it's that time, he's totally allowing them to do that. But I'm with you with the polar bear. I mean, I think I know how you feel about that, but multi-sport athletes, I mean, what does that add to an athlete's resume?
It adds a lot. Never want to take, certain things away and whatnot. At the collegiate level, if that's your focus or whatnot, I think, at some point in time, they're probably going to have to choose to not do both. I mean, that's just a lot on the body over the time. 2 seasons back to back, after football. Football is a long, gruesome, physical sport. But it definitely helps in areas, with wide receiver stuff and everything like that. I know Jalen, he's a long jumper and whatnot. So, I mean, with 1 foot plant and breaks and everything like that, and being explosive off of one leg, probably translates over on the football field. So, I mean, it has its pros with helping it, but it also has its situations where it can help, where it can hurt.
Do you have any fears for that for a guy like the polar bear, though, who up until this point has seemed to handle the transition really well?
No fears, just, them not trying to do too much or, please one coach or one more or the other side, just listen to your body and do what's best for you.
I mean, when you're playing football for University of Nebraska, could you even imagine doing another sport, or how tight is that time window when we're looking at these dual sport athletes? Like, how much time are these guys really putting in? Because football alone, I mean, those are long days you guys are going through.
Yeah. That's different. I can't speak on necessarily, that situation. I know when, I was there, we had Khalil and Carlos who, did shot put and whatnot. But I mean, that was still different than, some of these other athletes, the polar bear goes to, wrestling practice like that. I can't imagine, that physical group. So, that's a lot. I don't know if you cut certain things off or you pull them back because of, letting their body rest and recuperate. So that's a give take situation that I really can't speak on because I didn't go through it and I didn't see certain athletes go through that big of, 2 sports at one time situation.
Yeah. Well, we know one thing's for sure. If you're going to be doing that, you're going to be best friends with those nutritionists, because football is definitely a sport where that build matters a lot. So again, we talked about with polar bear, but I mean, his weight transformation has been nothing short but amazing thus far. And it does keep me leading. I mean, with this team, we've talked about the defense looking to kind of lead it. We talked about the bright spots. Is there a weak spot on defense? We kind of went through it with the offense the other day, but defensively, do you see any holes in this upcoming season that could be problematic?
Probably, I would say safeties and linebackers, maybe.
I'm with you on linebackers. Go ahead.
You got Gibbs back there, but he can only do so much. Again, you got guys coming back, younger guys stepping up and whatnot, so you never know, what the situation you're going to get. So that makes me nervous. I wouldn't say a weak spot. I'm just not sure what to expect.
Yeah, I'm expecting, it's hard to pinpoint a weak spot. The corners are going to have some veteran leadership in there, but they're also going to be a little bit young at times in terms of depth. Look at the safeties. Maybe that's a problem. I'm with you with the linebackers, though, because I just think up front we're going to be so good. If you're going to want to continue to be that team that is just great at stopping the run, we've had some good linebackers over the years, and to kind of replace that role, to fill it, be the real leaders of that defense, it's going to be interesting to see. But Tony White, year 2, is there anything short in expectations of a great defensive season from this team? I mean, I'm thinking it wouldn't be too much to ask, again, if I'm expecting them to be top 4, top 3 and stopping the run in Big Ten play.
I would say that's reasonable. And hopefully, that's obtainable. I feel like, they got guys there that can do that. And year 2 in the system, kids understand stuff, and now they're starting to play and fly around. So, and that's what you want. So, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. And again, I think this is going to be a defensive led unit early on. I hope the offense catches up sooner than later, but you like your odds. I mean, if Dylan Raiola, you got some easier games, UTEP to start out the season, or Dylan, I keep saying Dylan Raiola, but Daniel Kalen, whoever it may be out there, running backs, that's going to be a decision too. We'll see a little bit spring ball, especially that first drive, which guys are really starting to stick out. But it does feel like it's going to have to be led by the defense early on. And let's talk about the spring game, because I do think we get a page of what we're going to see, in particular on offense. How much do those, not the entire game, but those first few drives, like, is that real to look at on guys that are maybe making their way into the lineup?
I would say, looking at the spring game, probably the first 25 plays, probably, are real, you're looking at evaluating guys, or, who's going to compete at certain positions, or who puts, their stance on certain positions. Anything after the first 25, give or take, maybe, but for sure, the first 25 plays in the game are probably huge.
There you go. A little bit of tips and advice on what to look for as we get closer to spring game here in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're going to go ahead and take our last break here on the Don't Punt Hour. We got De'Mornay Pierson-El, the host as always, on the Allo VIP line. I'm Harrison Arns, back at the 1040 Ticket Studios. And again, still some time left on the show. You want to throw a subject at us in terms of Husker football, we can keep going that way. 402-464-5685. As always, we'll throw it to break and talk to you guys on the other side.
Of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Pre-order your Hog Wild slow smoked Easter ham today. Hog Wild selects the highest quality whole ham and slow smokes them until they're tender and delicious. Our 100% boneless ham is approximately 4 pounds and $50. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com. Quantities are limited. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-week challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off the enrollment fee. The next challenge begins on March 23rd. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Cover more acres with a pre-owned sprayer or planter from Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer. We offer one of the area's largest selections of used sprayers, applicators, planters, and seeders. Through the month of March, take advantage of fixed-rate financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver. Visit your local Landmark Implement location or view our complete sprayer and seeding inventory online at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Brought to you by the Original Super Glue. Stop by your local participating Westlake Ace Hardware locations for your $10 savings coupon. Restrictions may apply. See store for details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena March 29th and 30th.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, we're back here at the 1040 Ticket Studios. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos as we wrap up the Don't Punt Hour with DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. Really understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. If you guys want to join in, talk a little bit about Anthony Edwards, 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line as always. I want to talk about the Timberwolves and then one guy in particular, Anthony Edwards, because DeMornay Pierson-El, have you seen just his dunks within the past 6 weeks? My Lord, this guy is an absolute terror in the NBA right now.
Yeah, he's a minute. I like it though.
I love it. I mean, he's got to be. I mean, more or just as or less than exciting as Ja Morant?
I would say almost there.
I think he might be more. His dunks have caught my eye.
You just saying that because Ja got hurt this year. If Ja Morant is in there, don't get it. He's exciting. He's a different, kid and everything like that. I think Ja still has, a little bit more over him.
I will give Ja the overall package. I will give Anthony Edwards the dunks because I don't think Ja, he might have one that was as good as the 3 dunks we've seen in just these past 6 weeks. Anthony Edwards, just some quick stats for you guys. As the Timberwolves currently sit 3rd in the West in the standings, 47-22 win-loss total. Anthony Edwards this year, it's been one of his best seasons yet. He's averaging 26.7 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, 5.1 assists, shooting 46% from the field, rounded up to 47, 37 from the three-point line, 85% free throw shooter, and effective field goal percentage 53. I mean, his numbers jump off on the paper. The way he plays jumps off the paper. What is the ceiling for Anthony Edwards? Is this an MVP in the up and coming?
I think that's definitely obtainable. It's still kind of, early on and whatnot, but I mean, he's doing incredible things. Jason Tatum, was doing the same thing coming up and whatnot. So I feel like, those guys are in somewhat of the same type of ship. So, I mean, you just got to continue to be consistent and, each year in and year out, level up with your game.
Yeah. And again, with him, he continues to be on that grind, that level up, as you said there. And each season, he seems to get better and better. Number 3, it does feel like this is a good chance for the Timberwolves to go finally break through, being led by Anthony Edwards. Again, 47-22, 3rd in the West, only behind another shocker, Thunder, led by SGA, another guy who's going to be in MVP talks here, in the Nuggets at 2. Timberwolves at 3, though. Timberwolves knocking on the chance of a finals this year, or do you still have the Nuggets? Or you can throw another team in there?
You still got to go through Denver. Denver is, they've been kind of in that situation, been knocking on the door, have been battling injuries and whatnot. They're just a lot to handle. So I mean, don't get me wrong. Minnesota's nice, but you still got to go knock out the champ.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Just for the simple fact that it is hard pressed to find anybody that can get a hold on Jokic, and Rudy Gobert, one of the best defenders in the league around the rim. But that's one part about Jokic's game that I think is really going to exploit. If the Minnesota Timberwolves happen to beat the Nuggets, I think that's just something Jokic can exploit the entire game, is how can we get Rudy Gobert outside the rim? Because that is one thing, if you're looking to poke holes in this Minnesota Timberwolves team, it is certainly their rim protection or just defense as a whole when Rudy Gobert's off the floor. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for us. Shout out to DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. As always, DeMornay, I will talk to you again tomorrow.
See ya.
That's going to wrap it up for us. Again, shout out to DeMornay Pierson-El, always joining us here for the Don't Punt Hour. And again, if you guys want to continue joining in, we'll be back live at 9. We got the Malone radio show. That's always a great one there. So again, we'll keep Ticket Weeknights rolling on through. You guys are always welcome to text in, but we'll give it a break for now and talk to you guys in a little bit.